Hi, Warriors. Everyone ready to react to the Consumer Phony Index? How about you, Sinatra? Glenn? AJ? Good day, everyone. James? Alexander, welcome back. Hi, Ryan. Bran? I'll help you enter. It's a Consumer Phony Index this week. K-Man, how are you? Yakuba, welcome to F.A.C.E. Welcome to our community. Hiya, George. Going to jump in and destroy my account. All right, turn your platform off. Okay, so we'll talk about what's going on before. And why don't I start off with Ryan? Nice divergence up here in, good day to you, Ryan. Little divergence up here in US dollar yen. It almost looks like the dollar's smelling a good number. Euro's up, cable's up. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, it's all on the edge, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're sitting on the edge with this resistance up here in dollar yen that goes back to November, I think it is, that little pocket of tops we got after the first pullback. Yields is going to be my watch. That we're sitting right on that 420 still. I think that's going to be the big decider for everything. Market's going to move, but if we can crack out that 420, I think that we get fireworks. If it holds a move out, of course.
Yeah. Well, if we pull back here first before we go attack 420, almost looks like, pretty similar looking chart to US dollar yen today.
It feels from a yield perspective, it feels like buy the dip, doesn't it? If you're going to move down to 4%, you feel the market's going to come in and sell bonds. Okay. So I'm looking at similar. If any dollar weakness on the CPI data, I feel is potentially a bit of a counter trade, because I think that the market's anticipation of hitting dollar weakness on CPI is waning a bit, and it's more likely to buy back the dollar on economic strength.
Okay. Who's complacent still? Okay, we gapped up. We've had a lot of gap ups on Mondays. I've seen them because I've been in VIX forever. And most of these gaps get filled. They'll open VIX higher, market will rally, and it fills. It's happened, multiple times. Yesterday, the gap was not filled. And if we get above 15, that ought to seal the deal for correction, in my view. But, a little different action in the VIX compared to what it usually does on these gap openings. Instead of fading, it actually strengthened, and we have some risk off, a little bit of risk off. This one confirmed up here. NASDAQ barely did. Anyway, do you think we're finally going to get some type of correction here, setting up for maybe a little risk off? Could that draw people? It's going to really have people a little confused if we get risk off with a weak dollar, don't you think? I'm trying to put those things together in my head. So,
a lot of people are doing the same, I think. I'm wondering if part of this is just a bit of position reduction ahead of the big risk event being the CPI. Take some chips off the table. If it's a soft number, then our stock's going to climb. If it's a strong number, stock's going to drop. But if it drops, are there going to be plenty of buyers waiting in the wings who couldn't get a dip for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks? So I'm letting the levels do the talking on, particularly on the S&P. We're holding the 5,000 for now, but we're 4 pips away with 20 minutes to go to CPI. So you're not going to trust it.
Gold's been like a beach ball. Every time they try and take it down, it recovers. And this is the first time it's happened in the gold shares for quite some time. pull up the daily. We diverged on the 4 hour, but the daily, pretty clean divergence here. It's called a little higher. Same with Newmont, which has led the way down. Look how it on the pullback, it held 30 this time. So the metals act like they want to go higher. It's not what I want them to do, but it seems like that's what, that would make sense. You have to be careful in the dollar, in my view, if we take out 103.80, that would be some type of descending triangle. I think that opens it up for a pretty good decline under 103.80. So that's my bull bear line in the Dixie. So pay attention to it after the number. If we get a candle, maybe at least a 4 hour candle underneath it, I think you could look for the dollar to sell off maybe as deep as, 102.5, 102. Yields drop, dollar drops, metals rally, and we'll see what risk could do. K-Man, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Dale. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
We're
buddy.
in
So
the bouncing castle, and we're waiting for one side either to kick us off or to the castle to deflate completely.
did you say follow the bouncing ball? That was an
Your
old TV.
bouncing ball, my bouncing castle, we're bouncing around.
There used to be a TV show where it was a sing-along. I know you're a little younger than me. It was a Mitch Miller song, and they'd have the lyrics on the screen, and the ball would bounce from word to word.
Oh, yeah, I recall those guys. I recall those things.
Do you? Oh my God, it's nice to have a dinosaur hanging out with me. So anyway,
Yep.
cable still the strength.
Yeah.
Is EG breaking down yet? Well, we're down near your.
Well, I mean, this morning's partial UK labor data were good, and the wages were sticky, so we are retesting that zone. Tomorrow morning, though, we have the CPI out, and we do have retail sales later on, I think, as well this week. But I think the big one will be tomorrow, the CPI in the UK. If that remains stickier than expected, that may be the one that really goes for the big test of the 84.90, 85 in euro sterling, and then other sterling crosses as well. And that's what I was saying in the room as well. Cable today, for me, unless the dollar really chooses a side, and in this case, with the sterling being beat, it would mean a weaker CPI probably in the States. But
Yeah.
I'm reluctant to trade cable until tomorrow. I've got some positions, some smaller positions, euro sterling, sterling Swiss, long the sterling side, but very flexible still. Tomorrow I'll make a bigger or better decision on the sterling still. There's going into the CPI, my focus is rather going to be on Swiss on the one side, $88.20 Swiss magic level. Dollar yen is right in the middle of its levels. This 148.80, 149.75. And
Okay.
then the euro dollar is trying to creep higher again, but I'm wondering whether it's also position adjustment or not. The options market is not expecting a very huge move, so would put the range somewhere around there's those low 107s and the lower end of the 108, around 108.30 also. That's what the option market expects. The maximum range today.
Could we possibly have something like this? Let's just go horizontal ray where, we get a rally to put in a right shoulder on the euro. Maybe a lot of people are, short, and we could have a real big short squeeze, and then, then everyone will be looking at this as a head and shoulders top, and when it breaks down, it would measure new lows. But
that's possible. That's a pretty decent rally from here. That's about 200 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know. I mean, that's we were talking about it on the flow show as well. This is a bit of a the CPI. I guess the market is going to look whether we print below or still hold the 3% mark and then move and probably overreact, and then we come back somewhere. And yeah, I'm just concentrating on just a few currencies because it's in a lot of currency pairs we are on interesting levels, but it's a bit clouded in my mind. Apart from those three, to be honest.
You know,
Yen, Swiss, Euro. Yeah.
yeah, I was looking at USD NOK, and you know, that sure looks like a bear market rally to me. I looking for it, but you know, that's a pretty good tell. Had a nice rally and gave most of it back. We'll see what happens. USD NOK, you have a view on it?
Dollar Norway. Yeah,
Yeah,
Blake is having a very close look at that. I think he's trying to trade off that trend line support. I do think we are breaking it right now. Norway is doing a bit better with the energy prices going back up. Um, I I haven't traded it in this round. Give it another, yeah, well, it could be another 1%, you know, lower, and then finding much better support around 1040.
okay. Because I mean, you know, this looks like it could be a bear market rally. Speaking about WTI, we have a Nasil Haji here today as a guest. That's his bailiwick, so get some views on energy. WTI has been stubborn, trying to cut through this resistance here.
Yeah. OPEC report came out, not giving us a lot of information, barring the fact that uneven distribution of the cuts. Iraq still above
Yeah,
the quota, but oil is not trading it, not trading the OPEC report. He's doing relatively well, right? We
yeah,
have to watch that $79 level, in my opinion.
yeah. Okay.
Yields are
Any
trying
view?
to shy away. Yields are trying to shy away a little bit from the break zones. You've got the tens is just a couple of BPs below, or 5 BPs now below the 420. The twos are just 4 or 5 BPs below the 450. That's going to be the key this afternoon, or your morning. Sorry, our
Yeah.
afternoon for what's
Okay.
going to happen with the dollar, I reckon.
Okay. I think that we probably got to where Blake yesterday morning talked about a Gartley pattern, and I think we got there. When Blake comes on, he could confirm it. Looks like,
For what? For the Russell?
yeah. Remember we
Yeah.
were talking about you put a Gartley up there, and I think we got there.
Yeah, I think it depends on how the market reacts today. I mean, I think that we're supposed to get, you know, inflation. As you know, we've been discussing here, it's going to be probably a little sticky. So I think the risks are tilted for, you know, an inline or maybe even slightly hotter print. If that's the case, it's going to be interesting to see how the market reacts, and if you know the IWM or the Russell stops here, well, you know that it would stop at the Gartley reversal place pattern area, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Dow was up yesterday too, but the other indexes were lower. So definitely there's that rotation happening. You know, selling mega caps yesterday, buying the Russell.
Yeah,
That's the way it
and
looked.
I that's a good thing. You know, if you are a believer in this breakout, you have to see that type of you know,
Yeah.
Broadening
redistribution.
out.
And what's that?
Broadening out.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, you know, that's a good thing. I still think that the Russell's really underperforming, and that's a bigger risk for the markets as a whole, unless they start playing catch up soon. But yeah, I mean it's getting there. So today's going to be a really interesting day. I mean, obviously we've got CPI, and the CPI data is all that really matters. Yesterday was so benign in FX because everybody was just waiting for today. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Copper trying to recover, but still doesn't look good to me. Just a little bounce after a pretty good impulsive move to the downside. That's the way it looks. I don't know what China did last night. Could take a look.
And nothing
Bitcoin,
closed.
huh?
Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah.
Closed,
Chinese
yes.
New Year.
Okay, well then that's a good day for the FXI,
Yeah, the best day they've had
right?
in ages.
Huh? Yeah.
Best day they've had in ages.
I was strongly neutral on the holiday anyway. Yeah, so let's just hope it doesn't turn into a market holiday for a long time. So anyway, that's kind of the board. We're all waiting, see what happens here with the
Hey,
dollar.
hey Dale,
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna take the charts really quick.
Yeah,
You know, I got a couple of things I wanna chat with everybody about. I want to update you guys on a few things too. So we'll get into it. Um, you know, when you were looking at copper, this is just shows you how weak, you know,
yeah.
copper is as a whole. But you know, if you recall from last week, I'm looking for a Gartley pattern. So that means I am looking for a little bit further downside. You know, we stopped maybe, I mean, this could be a Gartley, but I really think we're going a little further and lower before we can complete that move. But
Oh,
there's a couple updates I wanted to talk to you guys about. I know a lot of people here watch the week ahead video, and you know, I always at the end of my videos, I do my 3 best setups for the week. Then I review the ones from the previous week. I do that every week. I want to give you guys a little bit midweek update really quick, because one of my setups was the Aussie Kiwi. If you guys were you know, remember from last week, we broke down looking for a rally back to the challenge the underside of that trend line. I actually ended up getting short the Aussie Kiwi last night after the New Zealand inflation expectations came out, a little weaker than expected. Well, weaker than the previous reading, and this basically set up for a reversal at the underside of that trend line at the 38% retracement. So that one is in process of reversing. Also, as you guys already talked about today, that Swiss CPI data came out, and it came in way weaker than expected. K-Man, you made a really great observation in the chat room. For February data, it came in very weak. And if you look back the last couple of years, inflation's been stronger in February, right?
Yeah, usually the January number comes in just a bit stronger, but you have to look back back a few years, right? Not really taking into account the pandemic years, although January 2022 was a big number, January 2023 as well. Yeah, it's a little against trend, that number, and it's especially a lot weaker than what they were expecting, and also what Jordan was expecting, because he told us that he was expecting a bit of a bounce in these numbers, and that is not what we got.
Yeah, and so that has really weakened the Swiss franc. And again, I'm going back to the week ahead video. Most everybody would know that I'm long Euro Swiss. I'm actually adding to my exposure today because it broke 94.80, and that was the level that I was looking for to actually add. And this is a pretty big, you know, pretty big resistance. And I think that it should open up some further upside for not only the dollar Swiss, but the Euro Swiss. But even if US CPI comes in weaker than expected, I think it's, you know, then you have the Euro participation to the upside here, and the dollar Swiss is probably going to have limited downside due to the Swiss inflation data. So I would think that the Euro Swiss continues higher after the CPI data today. So I'll be watching this one really really closely today, because I am adding to my long exposure already. And this is one that, you know, I think a lot of us have been playing on the long side since the December kind of fallout, or, you know, ridiculous strength that we saw in the Swiss franc across the board. we're seeing a reversal of that. So, and on top of all the comments from Davos, from Jordan, and then, what he's been leading us to believe, we are really, really seeing a reversal on some of these. So, really, really good setup. And I wanted to update you guys just because, like I said, I think a lot of you watched the week ahead video. So, just giving you a little heads up there. Let's talk about sterling. Sterling broke above the 50% retracement. We're at the 618. And we have some pretty important data coming out tomorrow with the Swiss data, as you guys were just talking about. Is what do you think is going to happen over there? We'll start with Ryan. What are you expecting out of the UK inflation data?
What we're expecting a little pullback in inflation. Whether it happens is another thing. It's going to be the same here as it is over there in the US. If inflation comes in softer, that's going to ramp up BOE cut expectations. If it comes in hotter, that's going to reduce early cuts, and when the market expects cuts. So yeah, we're in the same boat, but my view, inflation over here is going to be far stickier than elsewhere. It'll be a surprise if it isn't. We saw that in the wage data this morning, not falling as much as expected. So yeah, I don't see anything that's going to change the Bank of England's viewpoint unless we get a stupidly low number.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So if we get a low number, I mean, I think everybody's trying to lean into sterling strength at this point. Do you feel any differently than that?
No, I feel the same way. I think there's two things at play here. The UK is still producing some decent data, but the US outweighs it. So any good data we get from the UK, if it's followed up by good data from the US, you're going to see any gains in cable, pretty much evaporating.
Gosh, it's like you look at cable or Dale. I know you trade the euro sterling quite a bit. I mean, this is vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Would you be getting on the long side right here? Just as
I still am from 50.
Oh, you are. Okay, so but you at least risk is manageable from here. But yeah, it is definitely.
I think they'd want the stops under that level that you
feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, K-Man, what are your thoughts on I know we need to talk inflation today, so we're going to go for some setups here in a second for the US. But K-Man, you have any views on UK data tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm just watching for the confirmation that they are sticky to possibly add a little bit to sterling long, sterling Swiss or so, and see if we get a break of this 84.19 in euro sterling. If we get a weak data, bets are off, and we could have the similar situation actually. And I was saying on the flow show, we could have the similar situation that we had the first time around at 85, which is you get a weak European data, which took it down to 85 to figure, and then all of a sudden you get weak UK data, which then caused the bounce all the way back up to 87. So we have to be a bit careful with the data coming up in the UK here, that we would not have exactly the similar situation. So that is why I'm cautious with my sterling positions.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, you guys get your thoughts together on your best setups for the dollar. I'm going to address Brian really quick. He asked about the US dollar Norwegian krona. Yeah, we're challenging the 50 DMA right now, and we're below channel support now. So the daily close is going to really matter here for the US dollar Norwegian krona. One of the other things that's, and I think K-Man mentioned it a little bit earlier, or no, maybe Dale, you did, regarding crude. Crude's got some giddy up here, and we're getting towards the 79.30 level, which is going to be a big breakout level for crude. And then, next thing you know, you're trading above 80. So I think you got to watch that if you're trading the US dollar Norwegian krona. We are at pretty critical levels. I do have a small US dollar Norwegian krona long up above 1050, but it's really small, so I'm not adding to it unless we see a full-on reversal with dollar strength today. But the dollar is weakening into the CPI data, which is, I find, rather interesting. You see the dollar just pulling back all through European trade today. So where we end up with the dollar across the board is going to be really important, because it's either going to be I'm going to cut it or I'm going to be adding today with the US dollar, Norwegian krona. I don't like how strong crude is. So let's go to Ryan. Ryan, what is your best setup that you're looking for today with US data? I mean, if you get strong data, how are you going to play it? You get weak data, how you want to play it?
I think if we get strong data, I'll be looking at whether we get a test of 107 in euro dollar. We've pulled up just ahead of that a couple of times, 107.25 ish. So we're 90 odd pips away. That's a decent stretch point. On the other side, as I said, I'm looking at cable. I fancy the short side for this one into the high 127s or a test of 128 just to play the range up there.
Yeah, and it's I mean, sterling's looking pretty stout. So, K-Man, what are your best setups today into the data?
Yeah, strong data. I'm looking for dollar Swiss, dollar yen to break up, and weak data. I think cable could rally fair a little bit, perhaps, and dollar yen get a test. Euro dollar get a test of the 108.6075. Perhaps. Yeah.
All right. And Dale, what are you thinking today for your if we get some strong data, weak data, how you want to play it?
Strong data. I'd be waiting for 105, above 105 for a short. And maybe the data doesn't matter, but action under 103.80. I'd be shorting the dollar with stops over 104.40, looking for 102.30 to 102.
And just so everybody can see it, you're flirting with the 200 DMA right around 103.65. Just for a heads up,
Okay.
Because it's right there too.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you're going to be focused more on the dollar index. I want to be looking at gold today. I think gold is still vulnerable. If you I know we're holding above 2000.
Yeah.
But the fact is, if gold starts to crack and we start to see like a break of 2000, that's gonna usher in some selling, and that's also going to be a confirmation. If gold is selling off, that's a confirmation that the dollar's probably rallying. It's going to give you that confidence, if you will, if you're playing the dollar. I think in either direction, and I do think we need to be watching yields today. It is K-Man, you talked a little bit about it earlier. I think yields are pulling back from the key resistance on the 10-year. Now this is a big, you could say it's a big double bottom setup. It looked like longer term for yields, and just kind of give you guys a view here. It was looking more like a bearish. Oops, didn't take from all the way up here. Sorry. Okay, so it looked like a bearish pennant, that was going to lead us to really a lot of dollar weakness and a reversal, and just like a big sell-off in the dollar, but we've seen a big reversal in yields. And so a breakout above the 420 level would be up pretty bullish in the US 10-year. Then you'd have a double bottom, take us up to 450, 460. Anyway, so I think that there's a lot of great setups today. I'm going to get us set up for the data. So let me go ahead and do that. We're going to have the 10-year over to the right.
What do you make out of the S&P action yesterday, Blake?
We closed with the gravestone doji. So I'm not particularly actually I'm going to put the dollar yen up here. There's a 15-minute chart. I'm not particularly surprised that we're down today. It's whether we get a little bit of follow through, because I think if this data comes in weak, Dale, or excuse me, strong, which I think is a distinct possibility here on CPI. Stocks may not like that. Stocks aren't going to like that sticky data. So anyway, last minute thoughts, K-Man, Ryan, Dale.
Keep an eye on gold. I just replied to one of our viewers. Gold into that 2010 support over this data as well might be worth looking at.
Yeah, definitely. I think gold has not looked too great. But it could look really great after today. You know, some weak inflation data. We could see gold trading above 2050.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Good.
but all right, heads up, guys. Data is almost out. We got 20 seconds. And this is the data flash that you can get from ForexAnalytix here, and that gives you the data as it's released. If you guys see it before me or before us on screen, make sure you let us know. And here we go. Whoa, whoa.
Higher,
Dollar is
higher.
woohoo! All right, well, there you go. That is some strong data. Holy cow.
We're going to break out through 420. Wow.
And stocks don't like it, at least initially.
Yeah.
But man,
Watch that dollar Swiss. Watch the dollar yen.
Sure glad I didn't sell yen yet.
oh my goodness. Woo, look at that response. Dollar MEX is taking off.
Still got those. You do too, don't you?
Yeah. I'm, as long as dollar MEX is above 17, I'm not worried about it at all. So,
so that's risk off. Working more with risk off.
Correct. It's holding up pretty well, and I mean,
good
I
call
don't
in
mind.
gold, Blake. I hope you're right and it breaks down because I've been waiting to buy the miners. It feels like for about 40 years.
So,
Anyway.
yeah, well, maybe. Oh, here, hold on. I'm sorry. I've got to
See if
do
they
a little
fade
bit
this
of
stuff here.
I got to do a little bit of trading around here. Hey guys, I want to say if you want to be in the most active trading community, make sure you check out ForexAnalytix. This is where you're going to see Ryan, K-Man, myself, a lot of the other team members. Grega jumps in here. Dale sporadically jumps in. We talk about everything markets. We have the Flowonomics room, which is the macro chat room, the trades room where we put what we're buying and selling in there. Not just us, but a lot of other traders in our community. So jump in the ForexAnalytix community. It's only $1 for 10 days to try it out and get active in there. And then make sure you download the mobile app so you have all the live squawk feeds and all the analysis of 30 different instruments. Dale, I'm going to pass you over to your guest. I hope you guys get some clarity on crude with Anas here. So I got to go. Things are moving. All right. See you guys. Good luck today.
Hey, thank you, team. Thank you, K-Man. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Blake. And surround yourself with traders better than you. And that's why I bring in guys like Anas El-Haji so that you're well informed about what's happening in the energy sector. Anas, welcome back to F.A.C.E. It's great to have you here. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and we could hear the golden voice of Anas El-Haji. Can you do that, buddy? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Anas. You're unmuted. Hello, Anas.
Still can't hear you, sir. Coach, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't hear Anas.
We do not hear him. You may want to, Anas, you may want to check your just where your microphone is connected, what input it's connected to. Oh, he just logged out.
So he'll probably
I'm sure he's logging out, logging back in because, that happens.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, Dale. Man, can you believe this dollar? Woo!
I'm so glad.
Man, holy cow.
Here's MEX. I have another line drawn in here for an early sign of a breakout. It's going to be up here at 1720.
So, 1728 is the 200 DMA. So I think we're going to be really challenging that. Hey, Dale, take a look at the 10-year yields. They are just absolutely creaming higher right now.
This is really, I was looking for the bonds to break one more time and that should happen when TLT opens. But yeah,
Yeah, this is
the 10
this
year,
is
look at that, 429. Wow.
yeah, I know. This is gonna crush the markets. It really is
So
just
yeah, so a lot of guys that were looking for halfway back, 450.
oh, they're
No,
gonna
it's
get it.
actually 61.8 back is here at 453. That's what it looks like. 440 looks like a done deal at halfway back, but you never know. But just a measured move, right? 380, 420, breakout at 420, 460, measures 40 bips.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to we should be able to get that. And the stock market is just
Look at,
not going to
yeah,
take that well. That's the
see,
that's the issue.
yeah, the VIX gap up yesterday. We're getting followed through, and yeah, S&Ps are down 48. So, finally, down. Gravity exists. So
Gravity.
I think
Go
we
ahead.
could see 4,600 by mid-March, early April.
Well,
46 and a half.
it's entirely possible, Dale. I don't think that's impossible. I still don't see a Nos. Did he jump back in?
I'm looking for participants here.
Oh, here he is.
Here it is. Okay. Anas, can you hear me now?
No, I'm bringing him over right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
he should be coming over right about now. Okay, there he is.
Try to unmute now, buddy. There you go.
He's
How are
unmuted,
you,
but
Anas?
still can't hear him.
Yeah, still can't hear him. He does so many different things on X and everything. Surprised.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. When you jump from one platform to another, your
Yeah,
computer will take, right? If you're on
yeah,
X, it might take your microphone from one source and then bring it over. And so next time you jump on Zoom, Zoom goes, oh shoot, I
yeah.
can't find the microphone. That's why there's a little place right here. If I can let me do this really quick and maybe Anas can
Otherwise, I'll reschedule him. But I think Richard is here. Dick's going to be here Friday. Anas, I'll bring him back.
so I'm gonna just show him one thing. If this might help him out. I'm taking over the screen really quick.
Okay.
So Anas, right down here where it says your microphone, if you click this little triangle here, this one right here, you should be able to select what microphone you're using and what input you're using. So that's located in the bottom of your Zoom screen. And if you select, you might have one that's it's trying to pull your microphone from some other source. See if that helps.
Okay. Thank you, Blake.
You're welcome.
I don't think it's happening. Forex Gal is begging for you
Well,
to
we can
come,
see him.
Anas. Yeah, hey, Anas, how are you?
Still can't
We
hear
just
him.
can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, there's it's not pulling from
Yeah.
the right microphone. And we can't adjust your microphone from here, unfortunately.
Why don't we just reschedule Anas so you stop stressing out? The markets are. Want to do that? Just reschedule. Bye. Okay.
Bye,
All
Anas.
right.
We'll see
All
you
right.
soon.
Okay, I'll get it going. I'll get him back, Blake.
All right,
And
Dale. Hey,
I'll
you
see.
got good luck today, everybody. I'll see you
Yeah,
guys on the
everyone.
morning edge in about 30 minutes or so.
And I'll see you in the meeting, buddy.
All right. Thanks, sir.
All right, everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Hope we prepped you for it, and hope you had a windfall on that number. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Hope we gave you a little edge today. All right.